Hey everybody, here we are. It's a wonderful Saturday, beautiful weather outside, and I'm doing Marcel Proust Part 3. Okay, so this week I've gotten most of the way through this first volume. I finished Swan's Way, the first part, and I am now, I read the first half of the second book, which is called Within a Budding Grove. Mr. Graham Chapman, would you please do the honors? Thank you. So the first part of Within a Budding Grove, it's called Madame Swan at Home, and it's all about the narrator's romance with Swan's daughter, Gilbert. It's like Gilbert but a girl, I guess. Swan has married the woman with whom he had a love affair in the last book, and at the end of the last book he said he's done with her, he's not in love with her anymore, his feelings have faded. At the beginning of this book they're suddenly married. No explanation for that. I guess they had a reconciliation. So, but their daughter is very much attractive to the narrator, and he spends this whole part of this book lusting after her. And it's very similar to the romance Swan had in the previous book. He's clearly far more into her than she's into him. She's flighty and not very reciprocal of his emotions, and it causes him tons of pain and unhappiness. There's also a lot of the book that's about the nature of art. The narrator wants to be a writer. They have a writer friend, and he spends a lot of time hanging around and reflecting on the style of writing, and he talks about the French style as being mellow, as contrasted with the Russian and the Scandinavian style as being a mellow style, which I think is very true. French writers do tend to be mellow, although it can be carried too far and result in a bit of a mushy sort of writing style, which is odd for me to say because my favorite writer of all time is Victor Hugo, who wrote in French, of course, but I think Proust does suffer from a little bit of that mellow mushiness at times. He also talks about this, well, I think this is a common misconception, the idea that you actually have to do the work if you want to be a writer. You have to sit down and write and put in the time like anything else. It's a job, it's work. And he spends a lot of time at parties with this other writer hanging around in polite society, and people are confused when he wants to say, I can't go to the party, I have to work. And they're like, oh, well, surely you'll just be inspired, and that's how writing works. And I think a lot of people think that, but you do have to put in the time, and he struggles with that, finding the time to do that. So there's a lot about art, and I find that part interesting. I notice all the women in this book, all the women, he seems to be painting a picture of women as being very fickle and to a certain degree heartless. They don't seem to care about the pain that they're causing the male characters. And I think it's a very negative, kind of bitter portrayal of women. And I know Marcel Proust was gay, and I wonder if this is his genuine opinion of what women are like, or if the women are supposed to be avatars that stand for the men in his life who he had feelings for that didn't return his affections. But it's sort of a bitter, unhappy take on love in general, and it makes it seem like love is just all about suffering and being unhappy. And it's bumming me out, man. It's bumming me out. I want to get through that. I hope the next part of the book is happier. We'll see what happens. But that's where I am. I read about 200 pages or so this week. I'm going to try to get as far as I can through the rest of this volume next week, and I'll let you know how it goes. Thanks for checking me out. That's all I got for today.